Tonight, your body is doing something you never notice. It is counting your breaths. It is guarding your temperature. It is keeping your heart moving without asking your permission. And when the end of life gets close, the oldest parts of your body may know it before the part of you that can say, I am fine. Not in a mystical way, in a biological one, in a quiet, physical, ancient way that usually becomes visible only after something has already changed. We imagine death as a clean line, alive, then dead, a light on, then a light off. But in hospitals, in quiet bedrooms, and in the small rooms where families whisper because they do not know what else to do, death rarely arrives like a switch. It arrives like a system, closing one room at a time. The pattern is always the same, a familiar claim, then a specific piece of evidence that makes it unfamiliar again. We begin with something close to everyday life, then move backward into the older body that still runs the program. That is why this topic feels personal. It is not only about fossils, hospitals, caves, laboratories, and evolution. It is about a system still operating inside you right now. In palliative medicine, signs like Cheyne-Stokes breathing, cooling skin, reduced appetite, and changes in consciousness are not random details. Doctors and hospice nurses recognize them as biological triage. Blood is pulled toward the core, digestion becomes less important, movement becomes expensive, speech becomes heavy. Notice the structure. The fact is not just a fact, it opens a door into a much older logic, one shaped by hunger, danger, injury, social loss, and time. In 2013, Borjigin's team at the University of Michigan recorded a brief surge of gamma activity in the brains of rats after cardiac arrest. In 2022, a human EEG case report also showed brain rhythms around the time of death that were not as simple as a light going out. This is not proof of a life review, but it is enough to make one thing clear. The brain does not always disappear quietly. Here is the strange part. Many people near death do not seem terrified. Some become calm. They stare into corners. They call names of people who died years ago. Science can explain some of this through falling oxygen, medication, fever, and memory systems misfiring. But the explanation does not erase the feeling that the body is closing its conversation with the outside world. But do not stop at the first explanation. The first explanation is usually only the front door. Behind it is a harder question. If the brain and body were built by an older world, how many modern problems are not failures of character, but old survival tools placed in the wrong environment? Imagine a hand resting on a white blanket. The fingertips are cold, but the palm is still being held by a daughter. On the table is a glass of water that has not been touched since morning. No dramatic music, no final speech, just a body silently deciding what still deserves energy. This is where the story becomes more than information. Facts change people only when they have shape. A cold hand, a strange silence, a damaged bone, a shadow in the corner of a room. Small details matter because the human brain does not only process data, it feels patterns. Modern humans always try to organize things like this. We give them names, we put them into books, journals, museums, hospitals, and videos. That helps, but naming something does not always tame it. Naming fear does not make fear disappear. Naming memory does not make the past harmless. Sometimes science does not make the world less mysterious. Sometimes it proves the mystery is older, deeper, and much closer than we thought. Your body has carried this program since birth. When you sleep, it lowers consciousness. When you are sick, it forces you to lie down. When you are injured, it sends pain so you stop moving. So when the end comes, maybe the body is not simply giving up. Maybe it's doing what it's always done, protecting the last center that can still be protected. And that's the real reason this kind of story holds attention. It forces a comparison between you and the humans before you. You look at your own body, your own fear, your own habits, and ask, which part of me is truly modern? Which part is only wearing modern clothes while still thinking like a creature sitting near a light, listening to something move outside the light? We live with new tools, but not with a completely new nervous system. Screens, cities, medicine, language, and theories are recent. Under them is an older rule. A false alarm may embarrass you, but a missed alarm could end the line. That rule shaped attention, memory, fear, and the body itself. There's also a second reason this feels unsettling. It removes the clean border between past and present. We like to believe the ancient world is behind us, safely locked inside bones, cave walls, and museum glass. But the ancient world did not only leave objects behind, it left reactions, it left reflexes, it left cravings, warnings, blind spots, and instincts that still move faster than conscious thought. A modern person can sit in a lit room holding a phone and still be governed by rules written before cities existed. That does not mean every fear is wise or every instinct should be obeyed. The old brain can be wrong. It can mistake a message for rejection, silence for danger, a shadow for a body, and uncertainty for threat. But even when it's wrong for a reason. It's trying to solve an ancient problem with whatever information it has. And sometimes, the mismatch between the old problem and the new world is where the whole story lives. Think about that for a second. Many things you call strange about yourself may not be personal weakness. They may be old strategies appearing in the wrong place. Fear that arrives too quickly, memory that refuses to stay clean, a body that knows something before the mind can explain it. We are not looking at an alien creature. We are looking at ourselves from an angle modern life usually hides. Modern humans gained monitors, medicine, bright lights, and clinical language, but under all of that, the body still speaks an older language than any hospital. Your mind may not know when to leave, your body may already know the way. We gained comfort, but we never completely left the past.